I've been a fan of Art Carney's ever since the first time I saw him perform. He's a fine comedian, a fine actor, and he deserves a nomination for his, the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor of the Year for his performance in the film Harry and Tonto, which is also up for the Best Film of the Year. Would you welcome, please, Mr. Art Carney? I should have known. Why? I remember the last time you were on the show was the night we had Burt Reynolds on and Dom DeLuise. We were throwing eggs, and you came in with no trousers on that night.
That was a full moon.
That was a full moon night.
What makes you think I got trousers on tonight?
What are you wearing on the thing here?
Well, they make... actually, I was... you know, I had a nosebleed. Seriously.
Yeah, you were going to be on the show about a month ago.
What do you want me to look?
No.
Where's the nosebleed camera? And,
you were booked for the show.
You saved these?
Yeah.
And, they kept me there for a week. And, it kind of scares you, you know. The thing lasted about 18 to 24 hours. And they tested me for high blood pressure. And I'm on medication now.
Good. Have you got any extra? Yeah, you want to? Doesn't bother you a bit, huh?
No. And they got me a room near the hospital, and they seriously, they put me on this high blood pressure medication that has affected me a little bit. I get the dryness in the mouth, so I carry these
little cough drops.
The cough drops.
Right. No, you missed the pocket.
I beg your pardon?
You missed it.
Let me see. Oh, while they were there, they do something for a nosebleed. But there's a vessel.
Look, you're not gonna top Ann Margaret no matter what you do. No way. Yeah. No, but that's true about the nosebleed, and it was kind of a serious thing, right?
And it scared me. Anyway.
Luckily, they have a hospital right near NBC here.
St. Joseph Medical
which they had to put in when they put in the commissary. It was also a law. I think that there has to be a hospital within a reasonable distance.
And I got there. This is for flatulence.
You mean it helps it or it gives it to you?
And they got me a room near the hospital because, you know, in case the thing flared up. And I was watching the show a little while ago, and Shirley called me up and said somebody had to drop out or something. Would I get over here? Well, this is the way I look at the show every night. And I was lying in bed there, and actually about 15 minutes ago, I was thinking about Moose's meatballs.
You had a yearning for Moose meatballs.
Yes, I called up the deli, said, do you send Moose's meatballs to go? With the raisin cake toasted and coffee light. And I said, no, they didn't, so I'll get over there. And I saw her dance, and I just stopped thinking about Moose's meatballs.
Yes, trying to pick you up. Did you look good? You look good. You look good now.
Well, I had a hot flash about 10 minutes ago.
It brought a little color to your cheeks, didn't it?
So, anyway, I did what I could to get over here as fast as I could.
Well,
I'm sorry about the outfit.
No, I think you look stunning.
That's the way it goes.
I think you look stunning. How do you feel generally? You get things occasionally?
I feel pretty good now, and I lost weight, and I think one of these pills that I take in the morning is a diuretic, which, well, you know, it takes the fluid.
Takes water, yeah.
Something like that. And the other four are yellow. You know, they move. They're moving.
Moving pills.
I'll eat anything that isn't moving. But they do. Then the doctors always say, well, after a couple of weeks out, it'll level off. It's like when I had some oral surgery done about 3 months ago in New York and required 8 or 9 stitches. And I got a thing called paresthesia. And they always give you a little pamphlet, you know, about the cotton and the gargling and everything like this. And they said a little numbness may occur from 3 to 4 days after this operation. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
then there's a dash, and then they say, then again, it may last 3 to 4 weeks.
24 weeks.
My brother's a dentist, and he knew a fellow that lasted 2 years, his paresthesia. So all this was numb inside and out. I don't know why I'm talking about my ailments, but I'm actually a pretty healthy man, and I've had things like, these are all legitimate ailments called Osgood Slaughter's disease.
Osgood Slaughter's disease?
Yes, that's a bum knee. That's a knee that I got in football.
Why?
I've got a thing called angioneurotic edema.
Edema is fluid in the...
Right, angioneurotic edema. Now, you can get, the first time I got this was in the lips, and the lips swell up like that. I've had it in the eyelids, in the ears. You can get it any place. The most serious place of all I got it was in the throat, really, in San Francisco. I was on the road doing a play, and opening night, this thing started to swell up. I don't know, it's partially allergic and this and that and everything.
So that's
Yeah, and it swelled up. And then the next day, we had a matinee, and I'd had my breakfast, and I was talking to my wife, and I said, well, it went pretty well last night. I hope the people in the front row didn't notice the fat lip. And I got talking, and pretty soon I was talking like this and everything like this. I said, what's the matter with me now? And I couldn't talk. And this thing had hit the, I don't know whether you've had this happen to you. I hope it never does happen to you. Hit the vocal cords, hit the voice box.
And it
Is
just,
there a box down there in your voice?
that's what they call it, the larynx. The larynx.
And all of a sudden, I'm talking like this. And they got me to a doctor. Do you want some of this?
No, thanks. No.
And they got me to a doctor. No, it's a little witch. This is witch hazel with a little oil of wintergreen and a twist.
And a twist?
That's all. I'm in a wagon. You know?
Are you sure you're not a hypochondriac?
That I am.
Well, what
Are
happened
you?
to your voice? I mean, go on. What?
Well, they got me to a doctor very fast because there was no pain attached to it. I couldn't talk. It was just like a whisper. And this doctor put adrenaline in one arm and some kind of cortisone in the other, which sped up the cortisone. And of course, I missed the show that night. And the next day, the feeling and the sound of my voice was like you'd been to a football game, hollowing your head off, and it was just complete hoarseness. But it's a scary kind of a thing.
Oh, that's never heard of
Yeah.
that.
And
I've never heard of the other thing you had, Sawyer's syndrome, or Osgood's problem.
that's the knee.
Oh,
Yeah, well, this is the bum, like, this was in 1944 over in France.
Oh, really?
Shrapnel wound, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I also have a hiatus hernia, which is right in here. Otherwise called a diaphragmatic hernia, herniated diaphragm, or an upside-down stomach.
Well, I'm
This is
certainly glad
are they eating
you're
it?
here tonight, I think.
This is serious, too. They don't like to operate on this.
What, the upside-down stomach?
Red Skelton was operated on this. This is a thing that can happen when you eat and the food or liquid doesn't take a normal course. And
Goes round and round and comes out here.
And you wake up and you throw up for about 9 months.
That's weird. I've never heard of some of these
You know
things.
that. I've got another thing.
All right.
Neurodermatitis is another. Go ahead.
Neurodermatitis?
And contact dermatitis.
I worked with them in the Midwest once. Neurodermatitis.
Yes.
Opening act. You remember them, Frank.
Dermographism is another thing
What's
that
that?
I'm subject to. And conjunctivitis.
Oh, I know what that is. That's in the eyes.
Yeah, that's why you do that all the time, isn't it?
No, that's just a nervous habit.
Oh, is it?
That's Sawyer's syndrome. Osgood's knee. You could make a soap opera, you know, just out of you alone. You know, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. One of Mr. Carney's varied talents is playing the piano. We have a piano.
Wishing I could play the piano.
Well, you know, you
Real
play well.
frustrating.
You play well. Would you like to noodle something for us? Certainly.
Well, you probably hear If Tenderly a September Song, and then I do it every year.
I have known Johnny Winters for about 17 years, and I have never ceased to be amazed at his talent. He's genuinely a funny, funny man. And he has his own television show syndicated around the country. And on April 6th, he will be up at the Sahara Tahoe. Would you welcome, please, Jonathan Winters. Hello, John.
Oh, gosh.
Pretty thrilling, huh?
Well, it is. I wore my new sweater. New for me. It was in a fire sale, and I grabbed it up. I'm not proud. A lot of my things are used. The shoes I bought those in the same sale. Not ashamed of that.
No.
It was a fire sale, and that's about all there is to that.
I gotta tell him what you did to me. You may not even remember this. Remember when Jack Parr was doing the old CBS morning show?
Right.
I think that's the first time you were really
Yes.
ever appeared on television, about 1955, 56. And we did it out at Grand Central Station. And we did two shows, one at 7 o'clock, which played in the East. And then at 8 o'clock, the Midwest and West would join the network. And then you had to go back and repeat the first hour of the show live for the West Coast again. And I'd met you the first time then. And I was back there filling in for Robert Q. Lewis on a daytime show. And you called me at a hotel once. You won't remember this at all.
There are a lot of things.
But I remember that. I know there are many things you have
I don't
done
remember.
that are a little dim.
My mind has failed me a number of times.
But on this particular thing, I was staying at a little cheap hotel back there. A real cheap hotel.
Yes, right.
And I got this call one day, and it was from you, although I didn't know it at the time. And I was just finishing up the show. I said, Johnny Carson? I said, yes. He says, Mr. Weldon, I'm with J. Walter Thompson advertising agency in here in New York. My ears, just the whole scalp went up. And he says, we are doing some commercials for the Buick Company. I remember it so well. And he says, we'd like you to be our spokesman. And, of course, there's $2,000 in it and a new Buick. And right then, $1 would have been, didn't have any money. And I knew that you knew that I had to go back to California. I had to come back and do a show I was doing, and I wouldn't be there. So I started to do, little disclaimers like, I'd love to do it, Mr. Weldon. And then you started to get nasty. Just a little bit. Well, what do you mean you can't do it? That's the trouble with you California guys. You come into town, give you a job, you don't want to stay. And then you got really angry. And I'm practically dying. And I could have killed you at that time. And then he says, that's Johnny Winters. And I could see the Buick just flying away. And I'd already spent the $2,000 on the house, driving the car. You did little cutie things, didn't you?
Well, I still call guys up, and I still answer the phone as different people. I love to do that. One of my favorite stories, I love to, maybe, be an old person, and someone will say, hello, is Jonathan Winters there? And I'll say, no, the boy is in the basement. He's combing the kitty. Say, well, who's this? Well, I'm just an old man who wanders around his house. And a lot of times you get odd reactions from people the other end. But one of my favorite stories was, I've told it before, but it is a fun story. Several years ago, a number of years ago, I'd gone back to Ohio to see my mother and my stepfather and several relatives. And it was at Christmas time, and all of us were feeling no pain. My stepmother, my stepfather was certainly in rare form. And my mother had had a few, and I'd had several. And,
drink of your choice.
Yes. A little touch of the grape. And like many people who imbibe in drinks, you get telephonitis and want to call the world. And so I wanted to call a friend of mine, and his name was Art Lytle, and he and I had gone to school together, and he was a funeral director. And so I called him, and I assumed a character, and I knew that he hadn't seen me or heard my voice in a long, long time. So I knew I was home free. And I called him up, and he owned and still does to this day, the Jackson Lytle Funeral Home in Springfield. And so I said, is Mr. Arthur Lyle Jr. there? And he said, yes, speaking. And I said, is this Arthur Lyle Jr.? He said, yes. I said, well, this is Elwood P. Suggins, and I live out on the Lakewood Beach area. And my brother passed away here Sunday week, and I was wondering if you could do a job on it. And there was a long pause. And he said, how long did you say he'd been dead? I said, well, he passed away here Sunday week. And he said, good Lord, man, where have you got him? And I said, well, most of our people are from Boise, and I didn't want them to have him come that far just to look at grass, you know. So what we did, we put him out there on the porch and set him up against the lattice. And cold spell set in, just kept him harder than a cart. However, the other day, sun come out, and he commenced to get fleshy. And his face dropped a little bit, and but I tell you, Mr. Lytle, even in death, there's humor. My eldest boy, Lamar Jean, twisted the deceased hand around and put a softball in it. Well, Lytle lit into me. He said, good heavens, I've never heard anything like this. So then of course, I broke in. I said, well, it's Johnny Winters, and he said a few things. Those are some of the little things that I...
What is the wildest thing you've ever done?
The wildest thing?
Yeah, that you remember. No, the reason I can say that is because we know each other.
Yes.
We have spent some evenings together.
Oh, a number of good evenings.
When we had been talking
Yes.
to bushes at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I remember.
I guess, I'm trying to think the wildest thing I ever did. Well, I remember one story very well. I was sitting, this was back east, I was back in New York. You were talking about an advertising agency, made me think about this. And telephone rang, and I went to the telephone, and I decided I would become a character, as I just mentioned. And a man said, hello, is Jonathan Winters there? And I said, that little funky man's on a little tractor, and he's out in the backyard cutting some grass. And so he said, who's this? And I said, this is Sam. Who are you? And he said, well, this is Mr. Cavendish, and I'm with Ben and Bowles or something. And I'd like to talk to Mr. Winters. He said, you mean Johnny? Let me see if I can find Roundo. So, gee, you're going to see this guy at the other end of the phone. So I then shifted my voice. I said, hey, Roundo, come on in. There's a phone call for you. Get on it. So I said, hello, this is Jonathan Winters. And then the guy at the other end said, who was that I was talking to? I said, I'm on the phone, too. It's fun to do these little voices.
Yes.
Upset a few people.
Here's Ed to tell you about a great new opportunity to try one of the most remarkable vacuum cleaners ever made. We're back. My guests tonight are Joan Rivers, Judy Collins, and Johnny Winters. Your syndicated show has been renewed, I hear, and you're going to do something else on CBS?
Yeah,
We can mention that.
I hope we can.
Of course.
Because the networks here, they can stand that, I think. I always know there's a little friction, you know, between the three, but what the heck, they're all making a lot of bread. I start doing my little show. It's a half hour, and it will start on CBS here in Los Angeles, 7:30 to 8, around the middle of April. I don't have the exact date. I hope it'll be around the middle of April. That's what they promised me that. And then I'm going back east to New York on Monday, and it'll be back there. It'll start. It's already in Philadelphia, in your hometown, Big Ed. Yes. And I was discharged, you know, in Philadelphia.
Very good.
Yeah.
Fellow Marine.
Fellow Marine.
That's right, you were
I was
in
a
the Marines.
corporal. He was a colonel.
Yes, that's right. I remember.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of difference here. Rarely do you guys mingle with the enlisted guys, right? Right, kid? well.
You didn't like the service, if I remember. We sat around talking about that several nights.
No, I got along fairly well in the service.
No.
I was always disturbed because I didn't know where I was. And unless you're an officer, you see, you're not clued in. And you're not given the top papers, which I felt I should have had at least 1 or 2 papers. And I kept asking questions, which is always trouble. Running up to a captain, you know, or a colonel like yourself and saying, "Where are we, sir?" "None of your business. Move out." And I was always moving out. I was frightened a great deal of the time. I was frightened of the guys. I didn't understand a lot of them. They didn't understand me. I was kidding all the time, you know. I'd be in grandma 1 minute. And, "Hi, honey," you know.
That would,
a lot of guys didn't understand.
That would shake up a barracks late
And
at night,
I turned,
yes.
I'll never forget, to a bird colonel, and did a voice on him, which I'll never forget. And I said, "Oh, sir, what is your name?"
Little sense of humor.
Don't do that in the Marines very often. So I was misunderstood a great deal of times. But I got out eventually. I knew I would. I had good feelings about that. And I got out. I spent 2.5 years, and then I wandered around aimlessly, looking for odd jobs. And being odd, I found a lot of odd work.
We were talking about the first thing people ever remembered. Judy remembers at 2 years old or 3 and 4. Do you remember back that early, when you were a kid? To 3 and 4 years?
Back to 1.
To 1?
I remember the beads on the ankle. Oh, remember the blue beads and the nurse putting them on it? No, that's pretty far back. No, I remember. I'd have to go along with the girls. I remember back about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4. And I was an only child, as you know, Johnny.
Yes,
but,
sir.
I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and that
Was it lonesome?
It was for a while. It was for a while, and then I realized that any goodies that would be handed over would be handed over to me. But no, I was an unusual child. You know, you can imagine.
Yes.
I was frightening old people a lot, you know, scaring them on the porch or something like that. And doing in class, I was a slow student. I was dumb.
That's what they used to call him. He's slow.
Teachers, yeah, the teachers would say the boy's slow. But I was, you can imagine, a little girl next to me, somebody like yourself, I go, and the girl would laugh and then point at me and say, "Johnny Winter's doing things, Johnny Winter's doing things." And I'd run out and jump through the window or something. But no, I was not a very good student. I had very poor concentration. And I was scared to death of the blackboard. There was something about to me, nothing today scares me like when the teacher would say, I remember we had Miss Metzger, who was a very unusual woman. I don't want to go into a long story. She was tough and could have made a sergeant easily. And I was frightened of her, and she knew that. And she took advantage of that, I felt. And she would say, "John Winters, talk like a man," to me a lot. That's unfair, but she sounded sometimes like very, very strong. And she said, "Go to the board." And I said, "Yes, Miss Metzger, I'll go to the board." And I was always turning to a student. And because I never knew where I was never prepared. And give me the answer, quick. And I'll never forget, there was a guy called Alden Sonander. There's an
Alden Sonander.
Alden Sonander turned to me and he said, "We learn by doing." And, I killed him at recess.
We learn by doing.
Learn
There's
by
always
doing.
one of those.
There's
in every
always one
grade
of those guys.
school, yes.
And bless his heart, he was a very bright student. He was the brightest guy in our class. I always remember that. He was pages and pages ahead of everybody. And I was pages and pages behind everybody. Many days, I remember, it seemed like I was sick a great deal of the time because I wanted to be. And on warm, sunny days, I always had a cold. And Mother, I shouldn't go. And she'd grab me like this, and place me on the bicycle. Ow. Right to school. A lot of times I roller skated. That was fun. Remember roller skating?
Sure.
Yeah. Roller skated and rode the bicycle. Walked, ran.
Happy childhood, though.
Happy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Fairly happy.
Yeah.
I was broke a lot of, That's not fun when you're broke all the time.
That's right.
But I would lay for people in bushes and...
What were some of the jobs you did before you got into...
Some of the jobs I did?
Yeah, before you started... Started getting into show business.
Oh, some of the jobs I did? I worked in a theater. I was an usher in a theater.
was I once, yeah.
Before I even got out of high school, I was an usher.
That's what I did.
And I worked in a place called the, I'm trying to think of the bar. Well, anyway, I remember it was a circular stage. And I was going around on that thing and doing little funnies, and I got something like $25 for the weekend and all I could drink and eat. And then I went into the service when I was 17, came out, and then I did a lot of things. One thing I always remember, I worked for the Coca-Cola bottling company. I was an inspector. And looking for dead mice and marbles. I sat on a little stool, with a neon light, and did this, and just watched bottles all day long. And then I picked apricots and picked potatoes, shucked corn. You probably did that in Nebraska.
Sure.
And I worked. I was a fry cook in the Yellowstone.
Yellowstone Park?
Oh yeah, in the Yellowstone National Park. And worked 9 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, cooking steaks and hamburgers and just little short order things.
You've done a lot of things.
For the what do they call them? I can never remember the guys. Park attendants.
Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That kept people from the bears and things. But I did a lot of kooky. I think most of us have done odd,
weird things,
unusual jobs.
We have to do something here?
What are you doing here now?
Well, we're going to sell a little something.
Oh, good.
And then Dr. Stillman will come out and...
Dr. Stillman will come out and help us.
So we can use it.
Okay, we are back. George Carlin's here tonight. George Carlin has had a tremendous influence on a lot of the newer comedians because he is unique in his style. And he appears in the recent movie Prince of Tides. And he just has his 8th HBO concert airs this month, and he's just nominated for an Emmy for his children's show on PBS called Shining Time Station. He's going to be performing in New Orleans this Saturday night. Welcome, Mr. George Carlin.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Good to see everybody. This is my last Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and this is my 105th Tonight Show. By no means, certainly not a record. A lot of people are up around 200, I understand, but 105 of them. And I always did a stand-up, didn't I, Johnny? Always did a stand-up. None of that, let's sit right down and, talk about my goat's operation or something. 6 minutes per monologue, a total of 10.5 hours, standing here or in New York in the same spot. And that's a lot of time. I could have had sex 3 or 4 times during that. But it is good to be here. And this is the first time doing the show without any pressure at all of hoping they'll invite me back. Commissary, can't say enough about the commissary. Went there again tonight, Johnny. The penguin, cacciatore. Sauteed bat groins I had. Very good, very good. And the diced loon. Also, you might be interested, Johnny, a wonderful new restaurant in the valley, Top of the Schmuck. Have you been there yet? Yes, well, it's a big 15-story statue of a schmuck, and the restaurant is in the Hat Band. You might want to drop in. Really a good place. You have to forgive me, I'm a little nervous tonight. I only started recently shaving my legs. And boy, that takes a lot of foam, doesn't it? And the aftershave, whoa. Well, I'm not Not feeling completely well. I was traveling in Pennsylvania recently, and I was beaten up. Well, oh, you're from Pennsylvania. I was beaten up by a buggy full of Amish people. You're not expecting it. Anyway, working on a nice new investment of mine, a roach spray. It doesn't kill the roaches, but it fills them with self-doubt as to whether or not they're in the right house. You know you have a drinking problem when you get in a fist fight over the outcome of Jeopardy. I would like to announce tonight I am no longer saying have a nice day. I got finished with that years ago, but I don't believe you should put the responsibility on a person of having a complete nice day. I'm giving specific short-term well wishes now. I say things like have a satisfying mid-morning or a rewarding post-lunch. You know what I say at 5 o'clock? Have an interesting dusk. Figured out the security thing at our house. For years we had security problems. Put up a sign, pit bull on angel dust. Yeah. And nobody has come by except 2 guys on angel dust, actually. And as long as we're talking about signs, you know that sign, severe tire damage, do not back up? Well, when you're going through there forward, don't you worry a little anyway? Maybe they didn't get it right. Maybe a guy on drugs installed the spikes. Or maybe you're on drugs. And you're hoping you're going forward. Say, am I backing up? Well, let me take a look at the spikes. Oh, can't see them. Better back up a little. Have you ever noticed that the Ku Klux Klan has never really produced any great composers? Just an observation. You know what kind of surgery you never hear about? Nose enhancement. See, many of these are not intended to be funny. Many of these, in honor of my last Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, are just observations. I'm hoping that they lower the drinking age. I just want to see a sign in a bar that says, you must be 11 and prove it. Some people think of the glass as half full. Some people think of the glass as half empty. I think of the glass as too big. If you fall asleep in a house where there is an adult woman present, when you wake up, you will have a blanket on you. You know those toilet seat covers that they have on the wall in the bathroom, public bathrooms? They come in packages of 250. Someone had to decide that. Another one of those interesting observations. You know you're in the wrong store when one of your personal checks is framed on the wall behind the clerk. Do you think it's more immoral to kill a 300-pound person or 2 150-pound persons? Why must hailstones always be the size of something else? Names are very important. I think the Second World War would have been a lot easier if his name had been Slim Hitler. 3 observations in 1 monologue. You know what you never see, and I'll close with this. You never see a really romantic French ballad singer with a 12-pound cyst on his neck.
Love to see you work. I think Sparky or Biff Hitler would have done it.
Sparky Hitler, yeah.
See?
Yeah, I think you're right.
You just needed that.
Names are so important.
Sparky or Biff.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Stay where you are.
We'll be back.
Well,
Spunky, Sparky.
We're back with George Carlin. Indeed we are, friends. Congratulations on that. That's nice. That's nice to get the Emmy for PBS on the kids' side.
It's a nomination, and I hope, hope it
marvelous.
happens. I'm up against Mr. Rogers, though. Oh. So we'll
Can
see.
you say, I hope so?
I'll be practicing.
Yeah. When's the first time you did this show before I took it over, didn't you?
Yes.
You go back to the Parr days.
My first time on was with my partner, Jack Burns. Jack later got more fame with his other partner, Avery Schreiber.
You're right.
Burns and Schreiber. But got more fame. That's a strange phrase.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say notoriety because I don't like that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Dreams come true. Dreams come true. Jack and I were still in radio in Fort Worth.
Right.
And we wanted to be nightclub comedians. And he was the nighttime newsman, and I was the disc jockey from 7 to midnight. And afterwards, we would go home, we would turn on the TV, watch the Jack Parr show, and then we would fantasize doing mock interviews as what we would say if we were on there. And this happened every night. And some of them got very funny, and I was just sitting there in our underwear, you know, watching TV, watching the Parr show, and 7 months later, we were on it, which is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we still stayed in radio 3 months past that. So 4 months after being in the business in 1960.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, 1960, Jack and I were on. Arlene Francis was the substitute host that night. We didn't get on with Parr himself. Then I did it once in between Parr and you when they
That's
were
right, the
testing and
transition.
trying people.
Right.
Mort Saul was kind enough to bring me on. And my first time with you was 1967, and I've done, like I say,
A
105.
long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Something was in my mind when you were saying that, and it just left me. Does that ever happen to you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that where you got the idea of working the radio station, or the first bit you did about the wild
Willie
disc jockey?
West, yeah, the wonderful wino. Wonderful wino.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah I used to...
That's what I thought, radio days.
Yeah, that was that first sort of incarnation of mine during the 60 through 70
Right.
when I did a lot of media stuff, Al Sleet, the Hippy Dippy Weatherman,
Yeah.
and all those.
But you
those
progressed.
media-
You've always changed and focused in on what's happening and kept ahead of the game.
Well, I've always just kind of listened to myself
Yeah.
and seen what's next, you know. And if I feel something, I really feel strongly, I do it.
Yeah. You got into new investments at all, or anything going with it you?
Daytime fireworks. Not a big payoff.
Didn't work out, huh?
No. My biggest concern is the family right now. You know, I've talked to you about my son, D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan, yes.
Yeah.
Unusual name for a boy.
Yeah, well, he's only one of them. There was, of course, Silas, Cheech, Akbar, T-Bone, Winslow, Satan, Night Train, Gargantua, Tonto, and Spud. And Dagwood, I didn't mention Dagwood.
Dagwood.
Dagwood's having trouble. Dagwood's been arrested again. He's in trouble. Yeah, giving a virgin a hot foot. Which I never heard.
I never heard of that.
And doing the
It's a
wave.
little-known
in
crime, isn't
Pardon
it?
me?
Little-known crime.
It is. It's a misdemeanor. Thank goodness. Doing the wave in church is. Yeah. But he's been in trouble before, you know, staging illegal cow fights
Illegal cow fights.
and selling improperly labeled yo-yos to a minor. But he had it tough when he
Troublesome
was a kid.
kid, yeah.
We were in a tough neighborhood. You've heard of Hell's Kitchen?
Yes.
Well, this was in the suburbs, a Hell's Breakfast Nook. Yeah, and he had a little dog and didn't want to call it Spot. You know what he called it?
No.
Stain.
Stain. I've got to cut away. I'm kidding. Not that I want you to stop,
it's a
but
strange
we'll be right back.
Okay. My next guest is a very talented actor who you remember from the Rocky pictures as Apollo Creed. He's starring in a new movie called Action Jackson. I can't even say Action Jackson. I have to say Action Jackson, like it's in the air. Please welcome Carl Weathers. Good to see you.
Wow! Hey! Ho! My goodness! Good to see you.
Nice to see you. You're one of my favorites. I always enjoy your work. You
Works
have
two
a-
ways. I can't believe how you keep going and going and going.
That's my
from one
Action Jackson
Is that-
schedule.
You Action Jackson, I'm all
Action
right.
Jackson. You have to say it like
You're
that.
great,
You gotta
man.
say-
You
Well,
are
thank
great.
you, thank you. Now you're doing some comedy on Saturday Night Live.
Yes. I did this show, which was absolutely and totally bizarre, and I began to appreciate more and more and more how people who do comedy work.
Well, see, I didn't even know
Really
you could
work.
sing.
A lot of people didn't. I'm still trying to find out if, in fact, I can sing. I got, you do a monologue on that show, and the whole
Right.
idea is you want to come out and you want to really
Right.
enjoy the show. So I came up with this idea, this song I remember from way back when, and then I went traveling all around the country after I did the show, and everywhere I went, people were saying, well, that song you did, where'd that song come from? You got to do this song. And I wound up doing this song, like, everywhere.
Oh,
Suddenly,
that's great.
this song has become, like, I don't know, America's song. It's bizarre, but it's
And
like
you
being a
did some
kid.
impressions, too.
Yeah,
Did a Jesse Jackson impression?
yeah, I did on the show. I love it. He laughs at me. I did Jesse Jackson. Well, it worked. I don't know. It just worked.
Yeah, but you
It
see,
said,
if people don't laugh, you're much bigger. You can down there and just
I
slap
love
the
this.
audience around. People go, oh, we better laugh.
I have so much to live down. I mean, the last thing in the world I want to do is go out there and, I'm trying to entertain them.
No, that's good. Who else do you do?
Oh, well, I mean, I do the guys that I love. It's easier to do somebody who's identifiable and somebody that love
Right.
you. And people will say right away, well, who do you do? And I say, well, there's a good friend of mine, He's from Austria. And I say, Austria, my friend Arnold.
Oh, that's a
Arnold
good
and I,
one.
we walk around together all the time, Arnold and I,
Yeah. That's a good Arnold.
But Arnold, and then there's my other friend, because we do these movies together, and yeah, because I want to talk about this friend
Like
of mine.
Stallone with a severe cold, apparently.
What? This is what happens when you come out here, though. My voice is up like 8 octaves from where it normally is.
Well, let me
know what I
ask you now. When you do a movie, I saw you. What was that movie? Predator. I saw you with. You had.
Yeah, that was the one.
You had Arnold, and you had Jesse the Body Ventura.
Jesse the
Now,
Body
you guys,
Ventura.
You guys, do you want? Is there a lot of macho kind of?
Well, it starts out really with just guys who know you got a lot of work to do. But
Right.
if you get in with these guys, and first of all, I mean, I'm really not as physical in some ways as a lot of people would think. But when you're with these guys, you can't do, you can't help but do any other thing. So we go and we're doing this show, and doing Predator, and we're down the jungles of Mexico, and what is there? Arnold carries around about 80,000 pounds of weights with him, right?
Right.
And he just takes over a portion of the hotel and sits the weights there. So I'm down there, and I'm with, like, Mr. Universe, Mr. Galaxy, Mr. Everything, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I go, this guy's got the biggest arms in the world now. I got to kind of beef up here. I got to pump up a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, you're a wimp.
So,
Good thing I wasn't there. I would have killed myself.
that's right. So Arnold's got the gym, and he's going down at like 4:30 to work out every day before we go shoot. And I figure if I can
4:30 in
sneak
the morning?
In the morning, because we're up at 6 o'clock to go out and work
Right.
out, right? So I decide I'm going to get up a little earlier. I go in at 4. Well, I find out later that Arnold starts going in at 3:30. I'm going, this is insane. This can't go on. So I figure, okay, I won't get up earlier, but I'll go down after, or go downstairs after we come back in the evening, and I'll go run the hill, which is 3.5 miles down and 3.5 miles back up. One day I'm running up the hill, and here comes Arnold, driving by, because he comes in later than me. The next day, Arnold is out running the hill.
Oh yeah.
So here we are, these two guys are supposed to be actors, right? And it's this competition. Finally, it's like, come on, truce, Arnold.
What you should
No more.
do is go out, stand by the hill, wait for him to drive by, and then go back to bed. See?
But you're smart. That's why you have this job.
Now, do you do a lot of your own stunts in these movies? Obviously, you're in pretty good shape, so do you?
I don't know what else to do. I mean, that's once you do these movies and fans love what you do,
Right.
it's like you have to go more and more and more and do more and more and more. So I find myself doing as much as I can. But there's so many great stuntmen around that, when it gets really hairy
Well,
and
I
scary.
mean, are you one of these guys? Because even I mean, I did a film and they weren't really stunts, but someone will say, Jay, walk through the door. Oh, we have a stunt guy to do that for you. And you feel like, I mean,
No, I know.
Do you feel silly not doing your own stunt?
Well, it depends on the stunt. I mean, I've done things that have been incredibly difficult and gotten through it. And I've seen other guys, stuntmen, do
Right.
things that were not difficult at all. I saw a guy once, I was asked once to do a stunt which was simple. Just run up and jump on a fire escape and climb up the side of this fire escape because it's hanging from a building.
Right.
Something told me, no, this is not right. Something
Yeah.
about this is not right. Stuntman goes and does it. The thing falls off the side of the building. So I go and do these things on top of a car with all these explosions. I come out unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the easiest things can appear to be very dangerous.
How about
and
love
evil.
scenes? You bring in a stunt guy for that?
Only when she has a runny nose. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's terrible. I know. That's terrible.
Okay, and we'll be right back after this message.
I first met Jonathan Winters about 1953 or 54. Jack Parr at that time, believe it or not, was doing a show early in the morning on CBS. And I went in to fill in for him once, and they said, you have a fellow called Jonathan Winters on today. And he came on, and I thought then he was the most inventive, off-the-wall comedians I have ever seen, and I still think that. He's just finished a movie called Moon Over Parador with Richard Dreyfuss. He's written a book called Winter's Tales, Stories and Observations for the Unusual. Would you welcome Jonathan Winters? Little pouch there.
Well,
Just a little
you know,
pouch there.
turkeys carry a lot of stuff in front, and it costs them their lives. So I'm carrying everything. I've been carrying it for a long time, and I tell you, it's just since we're on this.
Yes.
I want to be. I'm so thankful, really, to be here at this particular time, because of the book and because I'm alive, and my shoes are corrective. I can feel my toes now. They didn't come through a chiropractor. What is not a chiropractor? You're a colonel. What is it? A general.
Chiropodist or
A
podiatrist.
chiropodist?
Or podiatrist.
Podiatrist. I had too many guys working on my feet. That's why they had to be corrected. But at any rate, I stopped drinking a long time ago.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, I haven't stopped eating, but I stopped smoking. There's so little left. And that's out.
And the feet are out. And that's a memory, too.
That's
huh?
a memory, Yeah. It falls off and it's gone away. Flies away.
Does it bother you getting older?
No, it doesn't bother me. I'm 62 now, John.
What was it you said one night? You were on the final...
Final glide path.
Yeah.
It's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
For those people who are doing a lot of this, get ready. You can't take that can through. It doesn't happen. My stepfather once said to me, if you make 60, you are definitely in the fourth quarter. Definitely. Might be OT.
You come from a family of...
Take time. A small family. I was the only child. I'm glad. I got everything there was to get.
No rivalry?
Not a lot either. No rivalry. No, I fought an attorney, killed him on the spot. He said, you get the kitchen knives. Good. You'll do time for this, and then it was gone.
Anyway, you want to talk about this?
Sure.
I mean, it's called...
Get off of kitchen knives.
You got it.
This was a book, took me 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah. A little slow.
Well, you have a word processor?
No, I don't have a word
See,
processor.
that's modern now. If you were a kid now, you'd have a word processor.
This is all I got. Yeah. And that's all Lincoln wrote with, I can't type, very honestly. I can't. It's unfortunate. And with the secretary situation, it's a little frightening, the senators are being reported and things. So I thought it's better to stick with a little hand.
Did your wife suggest you should not use a secretary?
Yeah,
Was that your
right away. She said that ballpoint pen, get on it. And so I went down the basement and between jobs wrote this little 216-page book. And it's a book on short stories, a little poetry, it's reflections, observations. It's not what you call a funny book. I don't want to turn you off on this, but it's reflections, observations, which can be funny.
Pithy comments.
Yeah, pithy. Yeah. Toward the end, it gets pithy. But you can sit, and you know where you sit a lot of times. You can sit there. Here, Margaret, look here. And
What's your favorite? Anything in here you'd like to...
Well, they're all my favorite. That's an ego problem. No.
Before you do that, why don't you find one, and we'll do a commercial.
Okay. I'm just as interested as you are.
Your hands are cold.
Yes, my hands are cold. Hold on to me.
We'll do this, and we'll come right back for our reading corner. All right, friends, now, in our author's corner, this is what I'll call our normal author spot now, and John's going to read from his Random House did this book?
Yes.
A little excerpt from some of your observations.
Okay.
Okay.
Sit right up, pencils up or pencils down. This is called How much money did you make today, little man? How much money did you make today, little man? Only 15 cents. I sold an old green bottle I found buried out back of the barn. How much money did you make today, little man? Carried some groceries, 4 big bags of them, for an old woman to her car. She gave me a whole quarter. How much money did you make today, little man? I raked leaves all day long for Mr. Rogers. Took them into an old dirty sheet down to Buck Creek and burned them. Both my hands are sore and full of blisters. Mr. Rogers gave me $1, silver dollar. Said he'd had it for a long, long time. That's Mr. Rogers cracking nuts. Either that or the fireplace is on fire. How much money did you make today, little man? I washed Grandpa's pickup and then waxed it. Made it look almost new. Grandpa gave me 75 cents and a picture of him in uniform when he was in World War I. How much money did you make today, little man? I shoveled snow all day Saturday and most of Sunday. Would have made a bunch of money, but the handle broke. As it was, almost made $2. How much money did you make today, little man? I didn't make a cent today. Hard to believe, ain't it? I've been hustling ever since I was born. But today I found something better than money. Something I've been looking for a long, long time. Ever since my dad died. No, it ain't money. I found a friend. A real friend. Somebody that don't care whether I got money or not. Last thing she said to me today was, I don't care how much you made today. Little man, I love you and just want to be your wife. It's not to say she doesn't love me. I'm sure she does. And I love her. But we're only kids. I'll bet you anything, when I grow up and do marry her, first thing she's going to say is, how much money did you make today, little man?
That's nice. That's nice piece. Whoa. Yeah. You have described yourself as a 60-year-old kid, right?
Oh, 62, yes.
62. Do you still
62.
hang on to your childhood possessions?
Yeah, I've got my ball mitt, which is really, it's small. It's just, my hand is small, and it just very barely covers my hand. It's an old mitt, Walker Cooper out of St. Louis.
You can't throw it away, right?
No, I can't throw it away.
I've got stuff like that.
I tried to throw it away, and it was thrown back at me.
Yeah.
No, I have marbles. I have a .22 rifle. I have a couple of boxes of soldiers, and I got to tell you one little story, John, especially this time of the year when people are, in the festive mood, and also people with, large pins ready to hit the turkey there in New York and watch it. Well, at any rate, no, I was kidding about that. I always wanted to do that as a kid, go, ooh, watch the big rubber turkey. Terrible. You're a violent child. I stuck it in a real turkey. He went at me. No, when I came home, this is a moment of grief, but for a lot of people, but I came home from the war, and I was just, again, talking about Thanksgiving, like yourself, strafing people there in Philadelphia. But I came home, and I went down the Stone Road, and my mother was there, and I said, you had to cue her a lot, and she was in show business. She was in radio and an actress, but I'd say, Mother, it's me, and her eyes were not Vaseline at that time. And I said, Johnny, your son. I see you. So it was a very demonstrative family, and ran to it. A lot of the minorities would run and grab each other, but whew, boy, when you're full Caucasian, a lot of times it's back off, So,
full Caucasians are like
Caucasian.
that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, and eventually she grabbed me, the bottle dropped, oh, nice, sweetheart, it is you. And so I went to my room, which about this area in here, bed, wash bowl, and a commode, and place to hang the funny shirts. So I said, Mother, it's great to be home, number one. And I said, where are my toys? There's a long pause. She said, you're 20 years old, dummy. And very sensitive at that time, too. I mean, if you said that had been said to me in the service, and of course, grenade. So I didn't have any grenades, or she'd have been history. So I said, Carol, say about your mom. We're a tough family. So
you gotta call it as you see.
You got it, because she'd survive. I know her.
Yeah.
And
tough old lady.
Blow her into a tree, come right out with some squirrel. So she said, you're 20 years old. What are we talking about the toys for? And I said, she said, I gave them away to the mission. I said, that's all right. That's okay, the poor kids. But you should have written me. Those last hours in Philadelphia where I discharged. And I said, please. Why? You should have let me know. And she said the line I'll never forget. She said, well, sweetheart, how did we know that you were going to survive? So that's when I put her in a home early.
A lot of warmth in that family, huh?
Parents are funny. I know they kid a lot.
Yeah. Let's go back to the very first Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Very first one.
Okay.
How do you manage it was as a pilgrim? I mean,
Well, you have to realize at that time, which I don't think a lot of people do because so many years have passed, they were basically from England, downtown London. And either that or, Southampton. Bye-bye, have a good voyage. Of course, the little boats were kind of a joke, and they went around in circles, and then everybody, so about 7,000 people went, and they moved out. No Evan Roods in those days, gang. So I imagine they got to Plymouth Rock, what it was, around 1620?
Mm-hmm, about that.
Something like that, 1621.
Jamestown, I guess?
Jamestown, good. And guy pointed, that's Jamestown. Yes, it says on the map, Jamestown. Everybody, yeah. And, of course, the boat went right into Plymouth Rock, and they swam ashore. And then they got up on the rock, and everybody prayed, usually on the rock. And those that didn't pray were cuffed around a little bit. And by the minister, hey, don't you believe? You don't believe? So then, of course, the Indians showed. God bless the Indians. I still have, a lot of love and respect for the Indians, too. They were obviously in just standard, buckskin and feathers. And here are these people, and the Indian would say, of course, that was a Wyandotte, and you could distinguish him from an Algonquin or Iroquois and Seneca, and he was saying, look at the buckles on the dummy. And, of course, it was something for an Indian because he had no buckles. Good waist, tight, and maybe a rubber band, but certainly not a buckle. And it'd say, and then the guy had buckles on his shoes. Hey, no wonder they were not wanted right away. And then the buckle on the hat told him that he'd had some special treatment. But that's pretty much Thanksgiving as I remember it.
How do you think the farmer Elwood P. Suggins would feel about Thanksgiving? Does he raise turkeys, Mr. Suggins?
Yes. I raised turkeys. In the beginning, we raised turkeys back in the late 30s. We had about 600 of them. And I thought it was early snow, but it was just white turkey. And we just went out there with full shot, about 12 shot, opened up and got a lot of them. And then I had heavy grief over that. And I had heavy grief that I'd kill them birds. So today, we just wait for a Cadillac to come through town. And if they cross the road, the Cadillac belongs to the Cadillac. And I picked one out just for Sunday, right out of the grill. Bird had just like this, had the design on it and everything. But we've taken to eating some small animals. I don't want to go into that.
Mrs. Suggins is still living,
Mrs. Suggins is full of life.
Yeah.
She's bedridden.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Which works in her favor.
I see.
I give her a box of chocolates.
Good-hearted woman, though.
And a new VSR, whatever thing. She's asked for something special. See movies on.
Watch some movies, yeah.
Yeah, and she watches that. Yeah. And I watch her, and then we watch the movies together. And I get her to the window so that she can look at the kids. Just drag her out of bed and over at the window. Go ahead, look at her. Put it on F6 and put it on CU close up, and then I drop her out of the window. Kids will play with her for 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. Well, they've dragged her around and wore her back off.
Yeah, well, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and give my best to Mrs. Suggins. Sounds like a remarkable woman.
Are you watching to it?
Yeah, well, she's probably watching now. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, honey.